Pre-need nowadays has to go into a life insurance policy that does not require a death certificate to pay, and it's for your protection. Number one, it's how you get guaranteed pricing. Number two, it's transferable. So if you move, you can transfer it. Number three, if the funeral home goes out of business, because funeral homes go out of business, the Arizona healthcare system will notify you that that funeral home has gone out of business. Your paperwork is at this funeral home. You don't have to use that funeral home. They're just going to let you know because it's transferable. So it doesn't matter if it goes out, the funeral home goes out of business. It doesn't matter if you move, okay? Because the insurance company basically holds the money for you. So sometimes when people say I've had a bad experience with pre-need, final expense is sold for a lot of people as pre-need. Oh, this final expense, right, will cover your funeral expenses. That's how that's sold. That is bait and switch as far as I am concerned. We do not sell final expense. We sell pre-need funeral arrangements. Here's the difference. So you have a company, a big company, they send out flyers to people, mailers to people about final expense and how it's going to pay for all their arrangements. So they go there, they sit with the family, they get them to sign. 5 years later, they bought a $5,000 policy. 5 years later, they go to the funeral home, right? They want exactly the same thing that they wanted 5 years ago. Now that funeral's $7,500, and that final expense is not going to cover that. Can anybody tell me why? We have an insurance policy also. Final expense is a pile of money. It's a regular life insurance policy. Think term, whole life, blah, blah, blah. It's actually a whole life. A lot of times it's whole life. You got to pay for 10 till the day till you die. So $5,000 of insurance costs you $75,000 or $10,000. So we don't sell final expense. We sell pre-need funeral arrangements. And the difference between a pre-need funeral arrangement is this. Yes, is it a term insurance policy? Yeah, because you can pay 3, 5, or 10 years. Can it be a paid-up policy? Yeah, because people can pay single. The difference between final expense and what we do is however they pay at the end of so they do a single pay, it's covered. If they choose 3, 5, or 10 years to pay, okay. Now, if they're healthy and they make one payment and they die with the next week, next month, their funeral arrangements are covered 100% and the bill goes away. Final expense, you die, they go, here's $5,000. Do you know what's required for final expense to pay? A certified copy of the death certificate. Because in their literature, it will say this. You will be paid, the family or whatever, will be paid upon approval. That is what we call weasel words. How long is that approval going to take? What does that mean, approval? Who's going to do the approval? What does it take to get the approval? They're going to need some kind of death certificate. Whether it's a working death certificate or a certified death certificate. So what we do is, even if they're not healthy, after 2 years and a day, and they die, their expenses are paid in full, and the bill goes away. If they pay 3, 5, or 10 years, and it's all paid up, after 3, 5, or 10 years, they own their arrangements. They have guaranteed funeral costs. That is the difference between final expense and what we do. 2 different animals. Both insurance, but 2 different animals. So when someone says, oh, I had a pre-need, I had a problem with that. Okay, so usually they had final expense, or they're talking about their relatives back in the old days. They used to pay the funeral home directly. And when they paid the funeral home directly, it went into an irrevocable trust. And guess who the trustee was? The funeral home owner. So this is what I tell them. I say, oh, this is how I handle that. Yeah, some people have problems with pre-need, right? Sounds like, let's say they say it's their grandmother or their mom, right? Their grandma. And their mom is 80 years old. Well, typically what happens with that, in that situation, is they were paying the funeral home directly? Yeah. Well, what happens in that situation, they're paying the funeral home directly. It goes into irrevocable trust. Guess who the trustee is? It's a funeral home owner. So the funeral home owner gets all this money from all these people, and one day they wake up and they've got $10 million, right? And next thing you know, they're on that funeral home's on TV because the owners are in South America somewhere. They took the money and run. So the fourth reason it goes into a life insurance policy for us is for your protection. You could never lose it. Security. Don't say it's a security, but you could never lose it. If you say it's a security now, you're in violation of the SEC. So don't say it's a security. Yeah. Don't say the word. Don't even say that word.
We never brought it up.
I'll take it back. Okay. All right. So that's how you handle that. It's pretty simple. Final expense is a pile of money that does not guarantee anything other than a pile of money. What we do, you have guaranteed funeral costs, and everything's laid out with the funeral home. Okay. That's the basic difference, right? That's all you need to know. You don't have to know anything else.